Welcome to another episode of Misunderstood. Now, I'm so excited. You guys have shown such love to this series, and we just began. I'm so excited, and also I'm indirectly under a bit of pressure because I can't underdeliver. And also I want you to know that I'm not trying to withhold all the information. So please don't forget that this video is powerful when you share your stories or your input about something in the comment section. So make sure you like, share, hapo kwa comments, leave a comment or two. My name is Nyawira and I speak a lot on this platform called Misunderstood. Misunderstood is a platform that I created with the intention of us having conversations and giving a bit of understanding to situations and seasons in life that we feel are so difficult to bear. I've learned that in life, no one person goes through something that somebody else hasn't. So we can learn from each other. And I pray that this platform allows you to learn from me even as I learn from you. We began a conversation a week ago about friendship and the types of friends. And let me tell you something, I also am interested in testing myself, and I'm working on it also, on constantly establishing that I can't run from. I met you two, we're best of friends immediately. So learning to build that friendship is becoming a test for me. So today's episode is something that, let me just tell you the honest truth, it's a huge disclaimer because I am pathetic. And I mean pathetic at this. And I know we are many, is that it's so hard to end friendships in a cordial manner and to be honest and to do it in the right way. So welcome to this episode of Misunderstood, where we are figuring out how to end friendships in an appropriate manner. This is a hard one because friendship, you know, when we said in the first video, in the video before this one, was that you build friendships because of intentionally working at them. But there are some friendships that just come of age. It's time for them to end. And it's a hard one to figure out because you start to think to yourself, but I've invested so much time in this friendship. They know so many of my secrets. They know where all my skeletons are, they know where all the bodies are buried. But I just want to submit to you that sometimes when you carry people with you who are not meant to be with you, they slow you down in your progress in life. And progress in life not to mean success, but to mean your personal development. Because some of us think that success is where the money is, but in actual sense, success actually for me is defined as when I'm content with who I am as a person. So ending friendships is necessary, but very, very, very difficult. I've been a victim of terminating friendships. In fact, terminating sounds so final. Terminating friendships in a manner that I now look back and think, oh man, I should have done that a bit better. Because the truth of the matter is ending a friendship doesn't mean you dishonor a person. And that's such a big disclaimer for all of us to learn because I've dishonored people. And if you're watching this, because I know maybe you are, or maybe you're not, because maybe you just think cancelled, this chick is just cancelled. I apologize to you because I want you to understand that I now know better. And sometimes it's too late to the party, but I hope that this video will help somebody not be in the position I'm in where there's a sense of, I should have done that better. So here's to teach you how to do it better. The first thing that we need to establish is why do you need to end a friendship? Now, there are many reasons why people can end friendships. Some of them, unamuanga tu, mi hapa, sitaki. But there are also certain reasons that just push you towards a friendship coming to an end. The first one is that it's toxic in nature. I've begun to struggle with this word toxic because I feel like everything that's bad manners in society these days is toxic. But toxic for me is illustrated best by a cartoon I watched the other day. I was watching Dexter's Lab. I don't know if you guys watched it. I loved it. And I loved how Dexter was so serious about hiding this laboratory, and his sister Didi was always in a hurry to come and just mess up the joint. And this video was interesting because Dexter had created a concoction in his lab. He had made a chemical of something, and on it he put the sticker hazardous, right? And that hazardous sticker meant that do not touch, it's hazardous. You know that sign that looks like a guy in the Kagas marks in the triangle? That's the sign. So Didi comes, and because you know Didi always just plays with everything she finds, she enters the space where the toxic thing is, and she moves from being a yellow cartoon to being a green cartoon. That's how I picture toxicity, is that once you enter that space, it consumes you fully, that you cease to be yourself. So my definition of toxic traits or toxic behaviors is when the person you are is compromised. And the person you are means here your values, the people you love, all these things are compromised for somebody else's advantage. So that's how I define toxic. A toxic friendship is when everything I would like, everything I value, everything I respect is dishonored so this other person can be satisfied. That's a real toxic friendship. Another reason you need to leave is that it is harmful in nature. And harmful for me means mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Mentally, to me, your peace of mind is always at stake. And you're never peaceful in that friendship. And for me, how I measure a peaceful friendship is that I can have a good laugh and I can feel like, oh man, that felt so good. Or when I've left you, I feel like I've been uplifted. Now, if you're feeling the inverse, where I hang out with you and I feel like, oh my God, can the ground swallow me right now? I need to die. That is a very dangerous friendship because it's taking away from you as opposed to feeding you. The other way is that if it's physical. Now, physical could also mean mentally, but I don't mean physical by violence. But if it's violent, even I don't know why you're watching this video, end that friendship immediately. But if it's not violent, how I define physical is many a times when you're mentally when your mental health is compromised, your body speaks to you. So you realize that you have a sense of fatigue. Like for me, let me explain to you, when I'm in certain spaces and I can tell that my body is unhappy, is that I'll start to lose weight extremely. I'll break out a bit more than normal. I get a lot of acid reflux every other time. I don't feel like eating. Those are my signs that something is wrong. And many a times it's not usually like my body's just telling me, listen to yourself. You know what is going on. So if that's physical. Emotionally is that you are always crying. Friendships should not be a place where you just cry every other time and you're not crying about your issues. You're being made to cry every time. I cannot stress this enough, is that friendships should also be a place where you find joy. Because joy is an emotion. Find joy in your friendship. Don't only find sadness. It can't be that every time you're the one who's always sad because this other person said or this other person did. No. Establish a place where you can have a healthy value system. And let me just say this here now. It's okay to cry in friendships, but there should be a balance where you don't cry every other time when you're never happy. There should be a sense of balance in that. Your emotions are balanced in that friendship. Spiritually is that for me, this is a very important one, is that my spiritual growth as a person is welcomed in this friendship and that I accommodate their spiritual growth as well. A friendship where you're trying to work on your spiritual growth or your walk with Christ. And I know it's a personal thing, but you're trying to walk. You need to feel like you are being supported in one way or another. And sometimes, I'm not saying that you should meet and every other time it's, hi, John 3:16, hi, Proverbs 32, Proverbs 31. No. Don't be those people. I mean, have a balance. And balance is so important because I'm a believer, and when I meet with my friends, I don't throw Jesus at them every other waking moment. I mean, I give him credit at everything I do, but sometimes you need to be also human and accommodate the fact that you can be spiritual, but also don't oppress anybody who is trying to find their place in Christ. Another reason why a friendship could come to end is growth. Now, this one is an interesting one because we are all growing at different speeds, but we realize that there are certain seasons in our lives where certain friends are just, it's like you're moving in a train, and as you're going, not even a train is a very weird example. You're on the road driving, so you're going shui, and as you keep on going straight, you realize that there's some roads that you move from the highway into a smaller road, into a smaller road, into a smaller road, and that's how growth works for some people. Is that when you're growing and when you're not, when you're beginning your journey in life, it's such a broad space where anything goes, everything happens. But as you continue to find yourself and find your niche, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and with time, people fall off because there's no space. And so it really hurts. It hurts because you start to feel like, oh man, but I really enjoyed them. But you realize you can't have conversations in this new season that you're in with this other person because you're not in the same space. They don't reason like you. They don't think like you. They're not exposed to the things that you're exposed to, and it's really hard. So in those times, growth can be a reason why a friendship comes to end. And the last one for why friendships end is boundaries are crossed. In my episode on boundaries, I share that boundaries are just limits, and they just guide they guide for healthy relationships, because they tell you this is how far it comes, this is how far you can go, this is how far. And sometimes it's interesting because if you don't communicate your boundary, it's unfair to end the friendship. And this is where I've been a victim, because I assumed that they should have known the boundary. But in actual sense, I didn't say it, so I felt like I cut out this person off, but in actual sense, they don't know why it ended. And so boundaries are so important. Communicate your boundaries. Speak clearly about them. And when this boundary is crossed, and this is not to mean that one time is not enough, we must accommodate grace, where if somebody makes a mistake once, allow them to learn from it. But if it's something that becomes over and over and you keep on raising it, means they dishonor it. And with time, you'll realize that friendship is going to be a lot of work, because you feel like you're being the police every time. But I told you, but I told you, but I told you. That's a problem. So that's a very important thing. There's some things that we must consider when we are looking at ending a friendship. Why I say that we must consider them is because we don't wake up one morning and just decide, I'm done with all these people. I don't think that's true. I think that's a very, very false image. Friendships must be transitioned out of with a lot of care, because remember, this is not a rock you're leaving or a rock you're throwing. This is somebody's heart, and I'm learning that this is God's child, and so you can't treat God's child the wrong way. No, that's not right. So the first thing you must do is realize that this is not an emotional decision. You must sit down and objectively, keyword there being objectively, assess, why is this friendship coming to an end? I'm a person of writing and listing down, and so I'm learning how to do it, is that I sit down and I list and I say, what am I genuinely feeling? And what am I genuinely going through? Not feeling, sorry, is that I feel dishonored, I feel disrespected, I feel unaccommodated, I feel inferior every time. I'm very unhappy. I'm getting tired mentally of spending time with you. I'm not growing as a person. Some of these things are important to do, because if you do it emotionally, you'll realize that you will make a decision. And emotions, unfortunately, they push us to do things quickly, because we want to end this now. I'm unhappy. I want this over. No. Don't do that to yourself. Figure it out objectively. Is it time for this relationship to end? Have I put in enough work to say that anyway, I'm committed and I feel like there's no commitment on this other end? Ask yourself some really tough questions. The other thing you need to do is that realize that friendships, in fact, this one was such an interesting one for me, is that for a friendship to come to end, you must first realize that ending a friendship is a sign of maturity sometimes. You need to be mature enough to know why it's ending. What does it mean for it to be ending? And in the next part of this video, we're going to be discussing how to do it, but how to do it with honor. And maturity will allow for you to say that objectively, this relationship is not working. How am I going to transition? How am I not going to hurt them? That's a very important thing. And it needs a lot of maturity and soberness around your thinking when you're doing all these things. So suffice it to say, don't make this decision when you're hungry, tired, or irritated, or when you and your friend are fighting. Don't do that. That's a no-no. Be very mature about it. The third and final thing that you must learn to understand, and this one was a powerful one for me, is that friendships are seasonal. There are friendships that are seasonal and the friendships that are permanent. You need to understand what a seasonal friend is. They're friends who stand with you throughout certain seasons in your life. But when those seasons end, you must realize that they were there for that season. Realize that season is over and allow for them to go. And let me say this here now. When you hold on to a seasonal friend, you realize that it's hard to transition with them into other seasons of your life, because they were there for that time. And let me just say this here now. It's not a problem to have a friend for a certain season. No. When my mom passed on, I share this example often on other platforms. I think it was Ben's podcast I shared, was that I had very good friends in that time. I don't think I'd have gone through that grieving season without some of my friends. True, today we still speak, we keep in touch. Once in a while we'll touch base. When I meet them, we'll have a good laugh and we'll connect. But in that season, they played a more pivotal role. And the beauty about it is that I allowed them to be there for me in that season. And when that season was over, I allowed them to go. And so I have no bad blood to those people because they are great. And even, in fact, I'm always cheering them on, whatever they're doing. And they do the same for me because they're not bad people. We didn't end badly. That season just ended. And that's why I'm saying maturity is so important, because you must also realize, and this is a very big disclaimer for all of us, is that don't go cutting off people in the name of seasonal friendships if you don't yourself understand that you are in a season yourself. Understand the seasons that you're in. And it's interesting because I was reading the Bible the other day, and I learned that this is actually how God works. He works in times and in seasons. And that's how he qualifies certain seasons in certain spaces that you're in. So you'll be in a season of laughter today. Tomorrow you'll be in a season of mourning. Today you'll be in a season of working so hard. Tomorrow you'll be harvesting. The next day you'll be doing this. So the seasons in our lives are so important to know, but you must know what season you're in, because that'll mean you'll allow the right people at the right time and for the right period of time to be with you. So understand that friendships are seasonal. So now you know why, maybe some red flags that you have as to why friendships should end. Then you need to understand there are some things that you must consider as you're looking at ending a friendship. But the video today was actually geared towards how to end a friendship and not dishonor the other person. Let me just say that I don't know enough about this because I'm also learning. As I shared earlier in the video, I've been a victim of this so many times. But I want to share an interesting illustration. I've shared it over and over again on, I think, Ben's video on talking about friendship, is that the analogy of a big long rope is that there are parts of the rope that you will tie a knot to, and that will be your boundary, that you can only come this far. And there are certain parts of the rope that you need to cut. Like cut, detach, throw away. That is the reality about friendships, is that the relationships you will keep to a certain level, and then there's some that you just have to cut because they are maybe they're running, they're making the kambata or kana, cut it off. How to end a friendship in a cordial manner and honorable enough to the other person, because as I said earlier, both of you are God's children. Don't hurt somebody because you think you're more hurt. I think that's ungodly. How to end a friendship is based primarily on language. Yeah, I've learned this one. Yani, so it's the worst thing, because maybe you're like me, where I don't even talk. I don't even give you the honor of closure. I just walk away sometimes. And this one, I think this is the most dishonorable way of doing any type of breaking up or ending. Don't just walk away from somebody. I mean, you've been friends with this person. Give them the courtesy of telling them this is what isn't working. So how you talk to somebody and how you transition out of that friendship is the first test. The first test is how you say it to them. Language is so important. Speak the truth, speak it all, and speak it well. That's such a huge test. And the speaking the truth is that acknowledge why you are. Remember the test I was telling you, where you sit down and objectively realize why this friendship is coming to end? That's it. That's the truth, right? The next thing is speak it all. Don't say some things and then leave out others. Be honest about it, but speak it well in a manner that honors them. So speaking the truth is that I made this list of why I think this friendship is has has run its course. The first thing is that maybe I feel like you never support me. I feel like my voice is never heard amongst us. I feel like it's such a negative space. I'm always so sad around you. I never get from you. And maybe for you particularly, another reason could be that you feel like loving this person is hurting you. And that's a bad place to be, because loving somebody should never hurt you. It should always give you joy. And joy here, not to mean that you're in limbo where you're always on cloud nine. No, it's to mean that loving this person means that I should find a sense of fulfillment. That's the right word, a fulfillment in it. So the first thing to do is that speak the truth. evaluate that thing many times before you run and finish the friendship. The second thing is speak it all. Don't say certain things and leave out others. Remember, you're ending a friendship not to disqualify this person from life, but to make them better for their next friendship. That is such an important thing, because I learned it. I learned it as I was preparing for this video, because me ending a friendship with this person doesn't mean I have stopped them from ever having friends in their life. But me allowing them to know why I'm releasing them in such honor is allowing them to know that I can, places that they can work on maybe. Sometimes someone said this to me the other day and I thought, wow, I've had it wrong all along. Some people are insensitive because they also don't know that they are, right? And sometimes you bring these things to light and you have to tell them, but then I think you've really hurt me because you're really insensitive. Be honest about those things. Speak it well. Speak it well means that you can say a simple statement. I was writing some examples of myself saying it like, hi, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate this and this and this that you've done for me. I appreciate you being there for me when I was going through a hard time. I appreciate you supporting me financially when I was in a crunch. I appreciate the fact that my family you have stepped in and been a good part of my life. I appreciate the fact that you and I have gone through very good times and very hard times together. However, I feel like our friendship is being tested or has come to an end because of say it, right? And say it with two reasons, with two thoughts at the back of your mind. One, the person could fight you back and say, but even you, know that is going to come at the back of your mind. But the other thing you should also know is that it will not be received in honor, even if you give it in honor. I've learned this the hard way in life, is that you give honor sometimes with the understanding that honor won't come back to you. Give it anyway. It has nothing to do with you. Give it and release it. What they do with that information is up to them, but you did your part. So be honorable about it. Extend grace. There are people I've had who say when they're ending a friendship, they give gifts, like goodbye tokens. I think that's a bit much, but if that's your thing, do it. If this friendship if it's difficult for you to end this friendship in a cordial manner, some people have heard that they sit with a mediator between them so they can share what their thoughts are and allow this person to speak through the mediator about what they feel. Sometimes that's it. But I want to say something. Before you rush to think about ending a friendship, evaluate whether this situation that they have put you in is something that was a fight, maybe, or something that could have been corrected easily. Evaluate your friendship based on truth. A bad moment is not a bad friendship. Think about that in truth, whether one big fight is worth ending a friendship or worth working through and learning from. I again say this over and over again, I am not perfect in this area. In fact, I am far from it. I'm learning that I am a terrible person when it comes to ending friendships cordially. And this video is for me first. But I pray that even as you're watching it, you're becoming a better person and working at becoming a great friend. So please, please, please evaluate your friendships. Figure out where people are in your lives. And if it's reached the place where the relationship has come to end, let's do it in a right way. Be honorable. Give honor, even if it never comes back to you. Let this person never walk on these streets and say that I was treated so badly by so-and-so. If you came in, worked on your friendship, and it's time for it to end, then end it in the right way, right? Remember, this is God's child, so treat them well. And above all else, realize that you are important as well. And ending a friendship could be a way of you becoming a better person, because there's some friends that you have that you know you shouldn't have. And that one, in fact, that's the next video. But there are friends that you need to realize I need to work on intimacy with, and some I need just to stop completely. So yeah, when I'm ending this video with a story a while ago. That I remember that I think a few days ago, when I was in primary school, we had swimming classes. And shout out to St. Hannah's. And as we were swimming, in those swimming classes, I think we used to have classes on Mondays, if I'm not wrong. And 2 weeks before we came for that swimming class, we had stories about a kid who had drowned and died. And so that time when we were going for that class, I remember it was time for us to transition from swimming in the shallow end of the pool to the deeper end of the pool. I had a classmate called Agnes, Siggy, if I'm not wrong. And Siggy was very confident in swimming. So we were both transitioning from shallow swimming to deep end swimming. So Siggy and I were confident. Me, I was like, by the way, my biggest target was cut through the deep end quick so that you can stand in the shallow end. Chap, chap. Yani, swim like a get to the shallow end and stand. And so was Siggy. And so as we were swimming, Siggy is a faster swimmer. Also, she's taller than me. I mean, she had an upper hand. So she swam. She got, I think, by the time we did the first lap, we managed. The second one, I think I was trying to push my confidence a bit too much. And the second time, when we were swimming, Siggy managed to go the full lap, but I had already gotten tired. So I began to drown. Smack in the middle of the pool. I'm telling you, to date, I can still hear the water around me. It was everywhere, and it was dark. So our swimming instructor, he dives into the pool quickly. He comes, and so Siggy comes to where I am, and so Siggy is putting up her hand and jumping, trying to signal the swimming instructor. So the swimming instructor comes, but I'm pulling Siggy down. So I'm drowning her. As this is happening, the swimming instructor comes and this was the funniest thing. Now, I'm the one drowning here. I'm gulping water, I'm swallowing water. I'm just thinking, this is how I'm going. Lord, so young, I'm meeting you so young. And so the swimming instructor comes, he picks up Siggy. So I'm pulling the swimming instructor's leg because I'm trying to yank him because he's not seeing me, he's trying to see Siggy. So he pulls Siggy, but the reflex was interesting because he pulled Siggy as I pulled Siggy. So he was pulling both Siggy and I. Why I'm sharing this story is because at the end of, when we came out of the pool and we were hanging, and now I was being held because I had swallowed enough water to make another pool. The instructor said, when a person is drowning, you run to the one who has lifted their hand. Because the one who is at the bottom will pull you down faster. So you'll end up both of you drowning. So the person who lifts up their hand is the one that you save. And why I want to share that is because some of your friendships, you're the one pulling the person down. And it's interesting because somebody else is seeing their hand up. And maybe this video is me saying to you, I can see your hand is up. But this is not me saying I'm the savior, but I'm just trying to say that this information is to make you understand that because your hand is up, save yourself quickly because you're drowning if you keep on staying in that friendship. So, I mean, that's a painful memory, and I think I really forced a lesson into it. But the main message here is that you can come out of deep waters if you establish yourself and figure out that this is what you want to do. So, am I perfect? No. Are you perfect? No. But are you in the process of working on yourself? Completely. So don't be ashamed of that. So yeah, we now know about our type of friends, and now we know how to end relationships in honor, in an honorable fashion. So I think we are becoming better and better at this slowly by slowly, and I submit to you that I'm working on myself as much as I'm hoping that you are as well. So don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and I insist, watch this video with your friends. Let them know what you're feeling also, so that you don't catch them off guard. Like, Nyawira had said in this video. Share with them. Let them know also what's happening. So subscribe, like, share, and let's spread this message as wide as we can. There are good friendships out there, but there are some that just need to come to an end. Until next time, I love you deeply and have a great week.